Hi friends, welcome back to Cottage Kim Cooks. Welcome to my kitchen. I am so happy to have you with me today. Today we are going to make a recipe from Taste of Home called Chicken Creole. So if you want to look that recipe up, you just go to Taste of Home and look up Chicken Creole, or just type in Chicken Creole Taste of Home on your Google or whatever browser you use, and you should be able to find that pretty simply. And the first thing we're going to do is cut up our chicken breast into cubes. I am using 2 chicken breasts for my family. You can use 4. I believe the recipe calls for 4 chicken breasts. We're going to go ahead and add that chicken that we've diced up. I'm going to wash my hands. And we're going to go ahead and salt and pepper our chicken. So it says that over medium heat, we're going to brown our chicken in oil, remove and set aside. In the same skillet, we're going to saute onions, celery, pepper, and garlic until tender. We're going to stir in tomatoes. For some reason, I thought this had smoked sausage with it. I am going to go ahead and add smoked sausage because that sounds like a good fit for Chicken Creole. The leftover smoked sausage that I know I had some, unless I already pulled it out. I did not. That's going to drive me crazy because I only used half of the smoked sausage the other day when we made, what did we make? The white beans and smoked sausage. I only used half of it. Maybe I put it back in the freezer. I can't imagine that I did because I thawed it out. So I don't know. We're going to go ahead and dice up our celery. We'll go ahead and dice up some onion. And we will dice up some yellow pepper. I decided on yellow pepper. You could have green pepper if you would prefer. You could have red pepper. I guess this is orange pepper. Whatever kind of pepper you would prefer, go for it. And if you wanted to add a little bit more heat to this, you could have jalapeno. My family does not like heat, so we will not be adding jalapeno. This recipe does call for cayenne pepper, and we're not going to include that either because of the heat. I'm going to eat this by itself, but for my family, I'm going to serve it with rice. It sounded like something that would be good with either orzo or rice, but like I said, for myself, I'll eat it just as it is. And for my family, they can have some rice to go along with it because they're not watching their carbohydrate intake quite as much as I am because I'm the only diabetic in the household. Let's check on this chicken. I'm going to add a little bit of chicken broth to deglaze the bottom of the pan. And I'm going to add a little bit more oil. And as that comes up to temperature, we're going to go ahead and add our vegetables so that we can saute those. I'm going to get my garlic paste. I'm going to add some more salt and pepper to those. Now this recipe does call for a 14.5-ounce can of diced tomatoes, undrained. I'm going to add crushed tomatoes, but it only calls, this is a 28-ounce can of crushed tomatoes, and I don't think I have a 14-ounce can of crushed tomatoes. My family doesn't like tomatoes. I can sneak it in when it's crushed or sauce, but I can't get away with actual whole tomatoes or even diced tomatoes. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this can and I'm going to add in half of the can, and then I will put the balance in a Ziploc bag and I will freeze that. Although I may be using, yes, I am making red pepper chicken later this week, also a recipe from Taste of Home. So you remember that I had over 1,000 cookbooks. I don't know, it's been a long time since I've done a cookbook haul or told you about my cookbooks, but I had well over 1,000 cookbooks, and they were pretty much taking over my entire cottage because my cottage is just a little over 900 square feet. So you can imagine that over 1,000 cookbooks, and I would say probably more like 1,200, you can imagine where those would actually take over your house. So I sold my cookbooks, and I have a new thing that I'm only buying certain types of cookbooks, and Taste of Home are one of those, because Taste of Home are one of my favorite cookbooks because they're recipes that viewers, readers have submitted and been part of their magazine or different things, and they almost always include the nutrition elements, and I love that about their recipes, and they're very good on their website to do the same thing. So a lot of the recipes you're going to see me modify or create or cook, the ones that I don't create myself, are going to be from Taste of Home. And so you'll be able to easily find those when I tell you this is a Taste of Home recipe. It looks like our vegetables are softened. So I'm going to go ahead and add half this can. I think that's about half a can. I'm going to let that warm up a little bit. And my point was to tell you that I'm going to be using a lot of Taste of Home recipes. And the recipe that I'm going to cook later this week is also Taste of Home. Now, you're going to find that I modify these recipes, and I want you to be able to do the same thing. I don't want you to feel like you have to use a recipe exactly as it's written. I don't want you to feel like you have to use recipes exactly as they're written. I want you to be confident that you can modify a recipe so that it fits the taste of you and your family. So I'm adding some Creole seasoning, not too much because it does have cayenne pepper in it, but it doesn't have a lot. So we're not going to add too much of that, but we're also going to add some paprika, because this recipe calls for paprika and cayenne pepper. It does call for a bay leaf. I don't have any bay leaves, so we're just going to cook it up this way, and we're going to wait until that sauce starts to change in color to a little bit deeper color of red. I can smell something spicy. Maybe it's just the paprika, but this is what it looks like. And while we're waiting for that to come up to temperature, I will give you the other information. So this says that you can also, if you were using the whole tomatoes that were undrained or the diced tomatoes that were undrained, You could make a cornstarch slurry and thicken that. I'm not going to need to thicken that because, like I said, I use crushed tomatoes, so it's already thickened. 1¼ cups has just 265 calories in it. It does have 8 grams of fat, only 94 milligrams of cholesterol, so below that 100 milligrams of cholesterol we like to be at to be cholesterol friendly, and 12 carbohydrates with 3 grams of fiber, so that's 9 net carbs, and 36 grams of protein. So like I said, even my family's going to eat this with some steamed rice, but even if I wanted to eat a 1/4 cup or 1/3 of a cup of steamed rice with this, I could, because there are enough carbohydrates left with just 9 net carbs to be under that 45 grams of carbs that we like to stay under to be diabetic friendly. So I am going to give this a taste. It's very, very hot, as you can see. That has just the right amount of kick for me and my family. Anything more and that would be too much, but it's very delicious. I can taste the peppers. That chicken is very tender. I can taste the onion and the garlic. It's very good. Absolutely delicious. And I'm sure my family's going to really enjoy it over the rice, and I'm going to enjoy it just as it is. So friends, if you want to follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, that would be wonderful. You can also subscribe to my channel, Cottage Kim Cooks, on YouTube. That really helps people find me when they're looking for diabetic friendly recipes, and it just helps me overall in general. I have a long-term goal. I've been doing this for over 2 years now. It was 2 years in October, and I've been making videos for just over 2 years, and continue to work toward those goals, and my desire being to reach people who also are diabetic or wanting to cook diabetic friendly recipes for their family, or who are on a weight loss journey like I am and have lost over 100 pounds. Friends, I really enjoyed our time together today. I can't wait to dig into this dish, and I look forward to cooking with you again soon. Take care.